Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now, it's real time.
Welcome back, everybody. We're lucky enough to be joined by Shane Magnuson. He's the owner of Upper Columbia Guide Service, also works with Yakima Bait, and a pro staffer of Edge Rod. So we got all kinds of stuff that we can talk about with Shane this morning. But Shane, it's great to see you, man. How are things going this morning?
Oh, good to see you too, buddy. It's going good. We dropped right in and caught a fish, so it doesn't start much better than that.
No, especially on your first day out with clients, your first day out putting the work in. Overall conditions pretty good?
Yeah, they brought the river up a little bit, which is nice, but it's real clean. The weather's nice. It's a perfect Easter Sunday out here.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely the way to spend an Easter Sunday, out trying to make some meat, and you can already, well, let's go ahead and show them, everyone. They've already had some success this morning, like you mentioned. Shane, you said that you had a couple of bites, but this one was the one that got landed. Is that right?
Yeah, we got that first one right off the bat. That one came to the boat, and then we lost one a couple passes later that just didn't stick.
Yeah, it happens, obviously. I'm assuming, but we'll let everybody know that you're running herring this morning, or are you doing anything different?
We got those first two bites off of a fish flash, pink chartreuse fish flash, and got plug herring, little orange and red label herring.
Wow. Now, why is that? Now, with these conditions, the way that they are, is that an advantage, a smaller bait than, say, a green label or something similar?
When the water's real clean like this, I like those smaller baits. Over the years, we've went smaller and smaller, and those things spin real well at this slow troll speed. And so I kind of start off with a couple different ones, but those small ones seem to get bit.
Now, is there going to be a moment or something that would change? Is it clarity only where you might bump up in size to, say, a green label?
Yeah, I'd bump up in size with a little bit of water gets a little more dirty. Our troll speed picks up a little bit because of current or what have you. Bump up to that little bit bigger bait.
How fast are you trolling this morning?
I'm going downhill at about 2.5. So we do have a little current out here.
Which is a good thing. It's nice to have a little bit of current at least.
Yeah. Yeah, it keeps those fish funneled in here.
Well, and also keeps them right on the bottom, which is where you want to keep your gear, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're hugging the bottom pretty tight. We're kind of in that 25 to 30 foot of water and bounce the bottom pretty tight.
Now, I know that you said this morning is your first trip out chasing salmon. You've been chasing walleye, as a matter of fact, up to this point. I got a chance to catch up on you on that. We had actually a viewer that called up and asked a question about your recent trip over there. You actually did a video where you had set up yourself for your walleye trip. And there was some great info. One of our callers had called and shared that with us. So I had a chance to go check that out. If you get to, everyone, make sure you do the same thing. But we're not here to talk about walleye. We're here to talk about the most important thing to all of us, it seems like these days, spring Chinook. All right, so you're trolling downhill. You're trolling a smaller herring. Water conditions overall very clear. What kind of temperature are you getting where you are on the Columbia?
I'm marking 47.1 right now on our fish finder. So that's surface temp. So that's plenty warm for these fish to really start moving.
It's certainly better than, say, 43 or 42 degrees like we can see this time of year all the time, right?
Yeah, we're definitely probably about 3, maybe 4 degrees warmer than last year at this time, and which should make these fish pretty snappy. They should be pretty willing if you run over one.
Well, let's hope. I need the dumb ones. I need the fat ones. I need the ones that are cross-eyed and can't smell very well.
We like the dumb ones. Those are the best.
Although sometimes it might be better to leave them in the population, right? Okay, so again, you've had a couple of bites, landed the one. Are you doing anything in particular to your herring? Have you doctored them up at all? Is there anything that you like to do, especially on your first trip out, since you don't really have a barometer of what's going on?
The water's pretty clean, so I just got them brined up in our super herring brine. It's just a natural color with just a little blue tint to it, not really dyed. And then we throw our salmon scent on it, which has some anise in it. So pretty simple, really, nothing too fancy.
Now, one of the things that I'm observing, and that's just because I love to look in somebody else's boat and how you like to set things up. Now, already, everyone, you can tell he's what we would call goofy foot. He's got his kicker on the wrong side of the boat. But your rods, man, you've got your edge rods literally on the edge of your boat. Now, that isn't something that I typically see. I've seen it before in different fisheries. Is there an advantage to that? Is there something that just makes you want to keep your baits a little bit closer together?
You know, we've got our 10'6" rods straight out in the middle, and then these back rods are kind of pointed back a little bit. They're the spread of the width of the boat, but you know, just trying to keep that spread so the four rods don't tangle. Not much different than where we usually do. It just may look different on camera is all.
Okay, I got you. It is an interesting look. Now, noticing, and I can already tell everyone, I'm lucky enough to have an opportunity to fish some edge rods, but it looks like you're using the 360 rods. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I got the 360 Pros out, the 1064s, and then the 924s. You know, they fish herring really well. They got a soft enough tip on them, and so very versatile rod for that.
Now, I know that there's a ton of interest, obviously, in the 360 Pro rods from Edge. There's no question. A lot of folks have asked that question. Are they specifically for 360? So in your opinion, and you were right in the middle of helping out with this, are they useful for everything?
You know, they definitely have the models that will fish herring and do the other things. Yes, they were designed for 360 fishing to give those Pro Troll flashers and things that snap, but the models like the 1064s, 10 or 924s, they're soft enough to really to be good herring rods.
How heavy of leads are you running this morning, Shane?
I'm running 6s and 8s this morning.
So 8s up front, 6s off the back, dragging the bottom, fish flash with chartreuse, red and orange label herring. Are you running those whole, or obviously running them whole? I mean, you probably can cut them, but you're running them whole. What are you doing? I'm
definitely cut plugging them. They're just little guys on there with 2-aught hooks, and they spin really good. Nice little drill bit spin, and actually running them fairly tight to the flasher. 42-inch leader, nothing real long back there. Yeah, dragging them along, bouncing bottom, bringing up a half a crank.
All right, I love it. We've already learned something from you, Shane. Thank you for that. I know that myself, and I'm sure there's several of you out there watching, they're going to go, well, I got a bunch of green label. Well, I'm going to give you a little trick. You can cut those green labels down a little bit, make them a little bit smaller, so you can kind of achieve the same thing that Shane's trying to do with a little bit of a spark plug, or sometimes called a firecracker bait. All right, Shane, don't go anywhere, okay? Thanks for the heads up already and the information that you shared, but we got to cut to a break. When we come back, I want to pick up and ask you what your plan is the rest of the day, based on what you're seeing, if you may change anything up, okay?
Perfect, sounds good.
All right, everyone stick with us. We got Shane Magnuson for one more segment out there on the Columbia chasing spring Chinook. Like we already showed you, he's had some success. Let's not jinx him, though. Maybe we'll get lucky and see a bite while we're on the air. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.